Listen, folks, let's talk about it. Let's get real. It's a big one, a massive one, folks, and people are talking.
I understand that Nelly, I think Snoop Dogg, and a few other black celebrities are catching a lot of flack from black integrationists for performing at Donald Trump's inauguration. Nelly is catching a lot of flack, and a few other black celebrities for performing at Donald Trump's inauguration. This is what I want to say. If it is a contradiction to perform at Donald Trump's inauguration, then it is a contradiction to perform at Joe Biden's inauguration. It is a contradiction to perform at Barack Obama's inauguration. It is a contradiction to perform at Bill Clinton's inauguration, because none of these politicians or political parties have done anything to help African people. So if you're going to criminalize Nelly for being paid to perform at Donald Trump's inauguration, that means no black person should be performing at any inauguration, because none of them do anything to help our people. See, we can't have it both ways. We can't have it both ways. If Kamala Harris would have won the presidency, y'all wouldn't have said anything about people performing at Kamala Harris's inauguration, even though she has no history of helping black people. So why is it okay to perform at Joe Biden and Kamala Harris's inauguration? Why was it okay to perform at Barack Obama and Joe Biden's inauguration, but it's not okay to perform at Donald Trump's inauguration? Why is there a difference in attitude? None of the political parties help black people. All of them have done wrong to our community. So unless we are going to ban everybody from performing at presidential inaugurations, then you shouldn't be saying nothing to Nelly. Then you shouldn't be saying nothing to Nelly. Then you shouldn't be saying nothing to Nelly. Okay? That's my opinion on that. How you going to get mad at people for performing at the Trump inauguration, but you don't get mad for people performing at the Joe Biden inauguration? Joe Biden spent his whole career fighting against school desegregation, but it was okay to perform. Joe Biden spent his whole career fighting against public school desegregation, but you didn't get mad at black people for performing at Joe Biden's inauguration. Donald Trump is an enemy to African people. Yes, he is. But so is Kamala Harris. So is Joe Biden. So is Barack Obama. What difference does it make? What difference does it make? He's an entertainer. He got paid to entertain. He's an entertainer who got paid to entertain. Leave the man alone. Leave the man alone. Leave Nelly alone. Shout out to Nelly and Ashanti. Black Love Matters. Leave the man alone. Leave the man alone. Because y'all worship stone cold sellouts out here. Y'all listen to their music. Y'all go to people's concerts who never did nothing for black people. But Nelly is wrong for performing at the Donald Trump inauguration. Miss me with it. Now, would it be wrong for Dr. Umar to perform at the Donald Trump inauguration? Yes. I have no business performing at the Donald Trump inauguration because I'm an activist and an organizer and a Pan-Africanist. It would be wrong for me to do it. Is it wrong for Nelly to do it? No, Nelly is not an activist or an organizer. Okay, he is an entertainer and he was paid to entertain. It was a business arrangement. Unless we're going to hold everybody accountable, you can't hold anybody accountable. Unless we're going to hold everybody accountable, we can't hold anybody accountable. Unless we're going to hold everybody accountable, we can't hold anybody accountable.
People are very, very upset. And why? Because Nelly, yes, Nelly, the hip-hop icon, decided to perform at Donald Trump's inauguration after Trump pulled off one of the most shocking political victories of all time, defeating Kamala Harris in the 2024 election. And now, guess what? The internet is on fire, the so-called black intellectuals are fuming, and everybody suddenly has something to say. The hypocrisy, folks, the absolute hypocrisy. And in the middle of it all, Dr. Umar Johnson, the Pan-African revolutionary, the man who has built his brand on holding black folks accountable for their allegiances, stepped up and defended Nelly. Yes, he did, and he made some very strong points, some incredibly strong points. He said, and I'm paraphrasing here, that if it's wrong to perform at Trump's inauguration, then it was wrong to perform at Joe Biden, Barack Obama, or Bill Clinton's, because none of these politicians have done anything at all for black people. And you know what? He's got a point. But let's break this all the way down. Let's start here. Why is it okay for black entertainers to perform at the inaugurations of Democrats who have, let's be honest, done very little for the black community? But when someone performs at a Republican's inauguration, suddenly it's a betrayal. Where was all this energy when rappers and R&B singers were performing at Biden's inauguration? Where was the outrage when Obama had A-list celebrities lining up to perform? Obama, folks, yes, he was a black president, but what did he really do for black people specifically? Oh, he was charismatic, he was smooth, he made you feel good. But where was the policy? Where was the change? And let's not even get started on Joe Biden. Oh no, let's talk about Joe Biden, the same Joe Biden who built his political career fighting against school desegregation. The same Joe Biden who championed the 1994 crime bill that locked up thousands of black men. But when black artists performed at his inauguration, nobody said a word. Nobody called them coons. Nobody called them sellouts. Nobody said they were betraying the culture. Oh, but now that Nelly performs for Trump, suddenly it's a sin. Folks, the hypocrisy is out of control. You can't have it both ways. Either it's wrong for black artists to perform at any presidential inauguration, or it's okay across the board. You can't pick and choose just because you don't like who's in office. Now, let's get one thing straight. Nelly is not a politician. He's not an activist. He's not a civil rights leader. He's an entertainer. His job is to entertain. He gets paid to perform, to put on a show. And guess what? That's exactly what he did. It was a business arrangement, nothing more, nothing less. So why are people acting like he just signed a deal with the devil? Why are people acting like he betrayed the entire black race? Look at history. Look at all the black entertainers who have performed for politicians of all stripes. Do you know how many of your favorite artists have shaken hands with people who have passed laws that hurt the black community more than you think? But when it comes to Nelly performing for Trump, oh, now it's a crisis. The truth is, many of these so-called critics are just mad because Trump won. If Kamala Harris had won and Nelly performed at her inauguration, they wouldn't have said a thing, not one word. But because Trump won, and let's be honest, a lot of people didn't see that coming, it's now a national scandal. Now, let's be fair, let's be balanced. Some critics do make a valid point. Donald Trump, for all his entertainment value, for all his unpredictability, has said and done things that many in the black community find offensive. From his handling of racial protests to his comments about black leaders, there is a real argument to be made that he is not a friend to black people. And let's not forget, Trump has a history with the hip-hop community. Oh yes, before he was president, rappers loved him. They mentioned him in their songs. They partied with him. He was a symbol of success, of wealth, of making it big. But once he became president, once he was in that Oval Office, suddenly he became public enemy number one. Now, was some of that justified? Maybe. But let's not pretend like black entertainers haven't been cozying up to questionable politicians for decades. So yes, I get why some people are mad. I get why they feel like Trump doesn't deserve the support of black entertainers. But here's the thing, Nelly wasn't supporting Trump. He was performing. He was doing his job. And if you didn't have a problem with Jay-Z performing for Obama, then you shouldn't have a problem with Nelly performing for Trump. It's that simple. Dr. Umar Johnson made his stance very clear. He said, unless we're going to hold everybody accountable, we can't hold anybody accountable. And you know what? He's right. He's absolutely right. If you didn't criticize black artists for performing at inaugurations of Democrats who have done nothing for black people, then you can't turn around and attack Nelly for doing the same thing at Trump's inauguration. And let's be real, Dr. Umar would never perform at Trump's inauguration. That would go against everything he stands for. But he understands something that a lot of people don't. There is a difference between an activist and an entertainer. An activist has a duty to stand firm in their beliefs. An entertainer has a duty to entertain. And unless we're going to ban all black entertainers from participating in any presidential event, then we need to stop this selective outrage. At the end of the day, folks, this whole controversy is a distraction. A big, massive, media-fueled distraction. While people are arguing about Nelly performing at Trump's inauguration, real issues in the black community are being ignored. Economic empowerment, education, mass incarceration, these are the things we should be focused on. But instead, we're debating whether a rapper should have accepted a paycheck to do his job. The reality is, no president, Democrat or Republican, has truly done right by the black community. So if we're going to be mad at Nelly, then we need to be mad at every artist who has ever performed for any president. Otherwise, we're just picking and choosing our outrage based on personal feelings rather than facts. So to the critics, to the haters, to the people calling Nelly a sellout, where was this energy when black artists were performing for Democrats who have done just as much damage to our community? Where was this outrage when Biden was locking up black men? Where was this anger when Obama was bailing out Wall Street instead of the hood? If you're going to call out Nelly, call out everybody. Otherwise, leave the man alone. And that's the truth, folks. That's the real. Like it or not,